What up, YouTube Live? Hold on, let me put my headphones here. How's it going, everybody? All right. Let me put on the social media telling everybody that I'm now live at youtube.com/ramascreen1. Give me a second here. Today is Sunday, October 14th, 2018. Upward. It's been quite the past week, man. I drove all the way to San Diego to cover San Diego International Film Festival. That is insane. I drove there and back on Wednesday, and then drove there and back again on Friday because I had to interview the talents. It I, it was it took a lot out of me because the traffic was kind of bad, and of course, going from LA to San Diego is about 3 hours. Going from LA from Loma Linda to San Diego is 2 hours. So uh, and then going back again another 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on the traffic. So, woo! But I had fun. That was my first San Diego International Film Festival coverage, and I must say that I had some good stuff out of there. Not just interviewing the talents, but I also got to screen the movie "Can You Ever Forgive Me," starring Melissa McCarthy, and the movie "Widows." The movie "Widows" starring Viola Davis. I believe that one won't arrive to like mid-November. So I know that I usually get press screenings as well, but when I had the opportunity to like, oh, let me watch it right now at the San Diego Film Festival, so I don't have to drive to LA for the press screening of Widows. So now I got that taken care of. I'm just relieved now. Got that out of the way. Let's see here. Whew, somebody just texted me. Make sure I turn this off. I am now live at youtube.com/ramascreen1. Telling everybody to chime in and join me on this weekly show. All right, let's see who's on right now. Robert, of course. Robert, hey, thanks for tuning in as always every Sunday. Hey, Rama, happy Sunday to you. And Lewis says hi as well. Hey, Lewis. All right, so there's a few topics here that we're going to discuss. That's right, you and I, not just me, rambling on. So feel free to chime in on the chat, and maybe if you want to chime in the comment section later on, you can do so as well after the show ends. But feel free to chat with me live right now, and if you want to do super chat, you can do so too. In between topics, I will remind you of some of these things. And that is, well, for one, Rama Screen is at GoFundMe. So you can go to gofundme.com/Rama Screen if you want to donate to help support this channel. Or if you like to contribute on a monthly basis, you can do so at patreon.com/Rama Screen. That's patreon.com/Rama Screen. And if you're wondering why I will not be covering the James Gunn Suicide Squad news, because the reason is I've already covered it. So you can check out my video from this past week when the news hit the web about James Gunn signing on to Suicide Squad 2 and about Dave Bautista wanting to join the project. I've shared you my thoughts and the context and the news in that video, so you can check it out. Check out that video at Rama Screen YouTube channel. And lastly, Rama Screen is coming to podcasts, not like YouTube podcast, but audio. Rama Screen is coming to audio. So I will be uploading many of my reviews, my interviews, and also this weekly show to podcasts. I think podbean.com, right? Podbean.com. And then I will upload it to iTunes. So it will be available hopefully to iTunes or on iTunes in the next few weeks, but it'll definitely be on Podbean this coming week. So yeah, the idea that Rama Screen will be available on iTunes is fantastic. It's gonna be awesome. So you can catch it, you can download it. A lot of people have told me, "Hey Rama, I want Rama Screen on audio because that's I drive a lot. I drive for hours to work or whatnot, and I listen to things while I drive and stuff like that. I listen to things while I commute. Go to train to my job and back. So they don't necessarily watch YouTube. So now you can do so. Rama Screen will be available on iTunes soon enough. So yeah, that's the process that I'm doing with right now. I'm in the middle of transferring many of the audios to podbeam.com and ultimately to iTunes. So it's going to be awesome. Um, Robert says, "Where your Circle K?" There you go. There you go, my friend. Mm, 89 cents plus tax. Damn right. 89 cents plus tax. It's amazing. All right. So I'll be reminding those points in between the topics. Let's get to the news and your commentary of it. All right. First topic is Kung Fu series reboot. Woo! Kung Fu. How's that? Because I grew up watching the reruns of the old, Western version, the Kwai Chang Kane traveling through the old West. And I also grew up, in the 90s. I grew up with Kung Fu, the Legend Continues series, where the grandson of Kwai Chang Kane, who happens to also be named the exact name, also Kwai Chang Kane, also played by David Carradine. How convenient. And it's about him and his son. Um, I believe San Francisco, right? The city. Well, he's a police detective, and his name is Peter Kane, played by Canadian actor Chris Potter. So I grew up watching those two versions. I was a huge fan. All right, I was a huge fan of Kung Fu series, both of them, um, which is why I'm really surprised when this news this past week hit the web. Well, not necessarily surprised because there had been talks of rebooting Kung Fu prior to this, but that didn't happen. That never took off. So I figured, it's back to the shelf, or like, never to be discussed anymore. But apparently they're gonna give it another attempt. So the news came from Deadline Hollywood. um, Fox Network has given up a pilot commitment to Kung Fu, a sequel. It's more like a sequel series more than it's more of a sequel than a reboot. A sequel to the 1970s David Carradine starring TV series from Sleepy Hollow executive producer Albert Kim and Greg Berlanti's Berlanti Productions and Warner Brothers TV. So if you don't know much about Kung Fu, the original series, Kwai Chang Kane, this character, I think came from East the China, of course, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the emperor's nephew killed somebody close to him. Um, so Kwai Chang Kane killed the nephew, and then of course he has to go on the run from the emperor, which takes him to the old west. He travels through of course, because he's a Shaolin monk, because he's inherently a good guy, he can't get away, or he can't avoid local troubles that happen in his path. So many times he would help the little guys. He would go to one town, for example, and there's like the little guy being oppressed by the bullies there, so he helped them out. He fights the bullies, and then he goes to the next town, and the next town something happens, the same thing. So in a way, even though I think the Incredible Hulk series came after that, I think Kung Fu series was on first, but it has that same format, with Bill Bixby's David Banner going from town to town, trying to escape attention, but then of course he has to help people along the way. So that's basically the premise or the formula of Kung Fu series. Again, as I said, the Kung Fu Legend Continues is about this father-son relationship, and it's more in the 90s set. And both versions apply the slow mo kind of slow mo fight sequences, kind of like, well, when the first Kung Fu arrived, before that became popular, there was this thing called $6 Million Man. Do you remember that, with Lee Majors? where where there's an action thing happening, and you hear the voice, but there you go, everything happens slow mo. So they apply that to Kung Fu, and then that goes towards Kung Fu The Legend Continues. I don't know what the format will be, as far as fighting goes, or the fight sequences goes, for this reboot or the sequel series. But let me tell you the plot that they have for the show. It says here on the outlet deadline, it says it's about a young Chinese American woman who inherits her father's kung fu studio, only to discover that it's actually a secret center dedicated to helping members of the Chinatown community who have nowhere else to turn. With the help of a former star pupil, a smart and driven ex Marine, she vows to continue the school's mission, and in the process, she discovers things she never knew about her cultural background and family's heritage, including a connection to a legendary ancestor. And that legendary ancestor is presumably Kwai Chang Kane. so, uh, prior to this, there was a previous attempt, as I said earlier. They wanted to reboot the series and set the story in the 50s. So it was more of a period piece. It was also going to be starring a female character, a Buddhist monk, and a kung fu master. She's female, who travels through 1950s America. Uh, she's armed with her martial arts skills and whatnot. And her mission was to search for the man who stole her child from years before. That was the idea for the previous attempt of rebooting Kung Fu, but that didn't work out. So we'll see if this one tracks some momentum, um, or if it's gonna die in the water again. But I tell you this much: I am pretty stoked about it. Number one, the fact that it's going to feature a Chinese American woman as the star. We need more. With the whole Captain Marvel and Jessica Jones, and we're in the Me Too era and stuff like that. So it's good. It's good that more and more like this, where shows with female lead stars keep happening. That's a good thing. That can only be a good thing. The premise, I guess it's okay. Um, some mystery that she finds out in her kung fu studio that leads to her cultural background. I think there needs to be more to that to hook me in. There has to be the MacGuffin, whatever her objective is, has to be stronger than just that. At least in my opinion. But I do want the kung fu or the fighting styles to be more updated. I wanted to mirror or reflect how some of the fight sequences are done today. When because we already have we have movies like John Wick, right? We have shows like Daredevil, where the fight styles are so stylized and fast paced and energetic. We need something like that. No more of that slow mo '90s slow mo $6 million man stuff. At least in my opinion. Um, if you want to be slow mo, do it Zack Snyder style slow mo, the bullet shot Zack Snyder style slow mo, not the $6 million man old style stuff. Um, Now, if you guys recall, uh, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you can double check it with me here, but the late great Bill Paxton, I believe it was him. Bill Paxton, the actor who was in Titanic and Twister, and he passed away during the filming of or during the production of his new series Training Day. At one point, Bill Paxton wanted to make kung fu movie, like a movie version of kung fu. You know, I don't know if it was going to be starring David Carradine. Maybe I think David Carradine already passed away before. David Carradine passed away in 2009, by the way. And David Carradine's character in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. Do you remember that Kill Bill? That character was sort of Kwai Chang Caine esque. If Kwai Chang Caine was a villain, if he was bad, basically. Um, so that character was kind of like an homage to his legacy in kung fu. Um, I remember I gotta Google it up again, but I remember I think Bill Paxton wanted to make a movie version of kung fu, but just it never. I don't know. Maybe he never gained that interest either from the studio, or maybe the script went nowhere. I was all for it. As I said earlier, I was a huge fan of the series, both the original and Kung Fu Legend continues. So I was like, yes, Kung Fu the movie, I'm in. Sign me up. um, and for those of us who are fans of this franchise, we also remember that there was Kung Fu the Next Adventure, I believe, and then there was Kung Fu the TV movie, both of which I believed featured the late great Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee is the son of the late great Bruce Lee. Brandon Lee died during the filming of The Crow, as you remember. He was accidentally shot with with an actual loaded gun. Um, so yeah, I believe he was part of the Kung Fu franchise, but it never, it was never well received to the point where they wanted to make. I guess it's one of those pilots that just didn't get enough audiences. So, and that was it. Um, but here's a fun fact: Bruce Lee was initially supposed to star in the original Kung Fu series in the 70s. As a matter of fact, there's this um, controversy thing among Bruce Lee's fans, saying that Bruce Lee actually the one, they say that Bruce Lee was the one that who came up with the idea for the Kung Fu series. It was I think it was titled The Warrior, and but at that time, unfortunately, our industry, the entertainment and Hollywood industry, was pretty narrow-minded, and I want to say pretty prejudiced and pretty pretty backward thinking. Basically, the business back then, and to a certain extent, still is today, that they think that, oh my goodness, a show with an Asian lead star, that's not going to be profitable. That's not going to work out. He has to be a sidekick to a white guy like the Green Hornet for that to work. At least that's how the executives thought back then. So, um, unfortunately, that was the era that Bruce Lee was in, and I guess the Warrior just didn't get enough interest in the circles of the big execs. But Kung Fu did, and David Carradine, if I'm not mistaken, David Carradine did say that Bruce Lee was the one initially offered the role, but was passed over ultimately for Kwai Chang Caine. So to conclude, before we get to the next topic, I want to say again, I'm excited for this new version. Whether it's a sequel or a reboot, or maybe it sounds like a reboot, but with a tiny bit of connection to Kwai Chang Caine, just to appease the fans. But they're gonna go with their own story for this Chinese American woman character. I'm okay with that. I'm all okay with that. As I said earlier, just make sure the kung fu or the martial art fight styles would be more updated. The 90s with the Kung Fu Legend continues. It was okay for that era. Remember the 90s, the TV series, that was the quality. All right. Remember Martial Law with Sammy Hong? It was popular because in the 90s, that's how we view television. All right. Remember Walker Texas Ranger with Chuck Norris? If you watch Kung Fu series now, or Martial Law now, or Walker Texas Ranger now, with the through the prism that we have right now about television, man, we would be laughing. We would be watching each episode just for the humor, because watching it now is they just look bad. So ever like I said many times, ever since The Sopranos hits the airwave, it pretty much redefines television. The show redefined television, and more TV shows became more cinematic in their, more of a long arc instead of procedural. So yeah, I want the fighting styles and the storytelling to be updated to what can appeal to today's audiences. And I think they're gonna do that, hopefully. And if they do that, then yes, they could totally make Kung Fu series work. So I'm my anticipation level from 1 to 10. I want to say 8 right now. I can't wait. All right, so let's go to the chat here. Robert says Steve Austin. That's right. Oh my God, I forgot the character's name from $6 Million Man, Lee Majors. That's right. Thank you for the reminder. Nestor from Cine Desde Hollywood says Rama is the man. Thank you, brother. You are the man. By the way, guys, go follow Nestor Cine Desde Hollywood on Twitter. He is also a fellow film critic of the same organization that I'm a part of, Los Angeles Online Film Critics Society. One of the coolest guys in the business. So follow his update. He's also a fellow journalist. So Desde Hollywood on Twitter. Robert says we need a lot more Asians representing us. Crazy Rich Asians was just the beginning. And Robert reminded me that the series, oh yes, Kung Fu the Adventure continues, right? That's the one. That's the one that starred Brandon Lee. Kung Fu the Adventure continues. Thank you for reminding me of that title. Yes, yes, we do need more Asians representing us. I mean, I love as an Asian, I love the fact that we have Fresh Off the Boat. and, and to, and to be honest, I love that show. I watch it religiously every week. But we can do more than just Fresh Off the Boat. Let's have more. Let's have more. Um, and I think this Kung Fu series could be a start of many more to come. And I'm all for it. I think we have gotten to the point in 2018 where we say to Hollywood, hey, our Asian actors, our Asian lead actors, they too can be profitable. They too can draw huge ratings. And I think Asian community, we go to theaters quite frequently, man. We help keep the movie business going. So yeah, thank you for that. The next topic is woo, oh my goodness. I heard about this past week and I could not believe it. But the fact of the matter is that Netflix and Marvel Television have canceled. They've canceled Iron Fist. Um, yeah, I think my neighbor is lawn mowing right now. It's kind of loud here, but if you can't hear it, that's a good thing. Um, but Iron Fist has been canceled. There are only 2 seasons. Season 2 was launched this I believe I want to say, was it June, July? Maybe after Comic-Con. Maybe it's August. Um so Netflix has canceled Iron Fist. The first season, the showrunner was Scott Buck, who was also the same showrunner for Inhumans. So I don't know about you guys, but I think he's a terrible storyteller. Um, no offense to Scott Buck if he's listening. Um, the second season had a new showrunner, and I mentioned in my review of Iron Fist season 2 that there were parts about Iron Fist or that show that I enjoyed. Um, but overall, it was so slow. It was just so damn slow, especially the whole brother sister siblinghood drama thing that was happening. I want to say, let me look up the name here. The supporting characters, they're just so like I don't care what happened to them. They couldn't get me to care about them. Um, Meacham, there you go. Joy Meacham and Ward Meacham. They dedicated in season 2. They dedicated about like I want to say 3 to 4 episodes about them. It's like bickering and trying to work things out as a family, and it was like and there was an intervention because Joy hated Danny Rand so much, and Ward trying to like, what are you doing? And they like, why do you have to dedicate like 3 to 4 episodes on that? It's just like, just tackle it in one and then move on. Like you're not the lead stars. The Meachams are not, Iron Fist. It was so dreadful. That's the word I could. That's the word I would use to describe it. So let me read to you the statement, um, the joint statement from Marvel Television and Netflix, and I quote: Marvel's Iron Fist will not return for a third season on Netflix. Everyone at Marvel Television and Netflix is proud of the series and grateful for all the hard work from our incredible cast, crew, and showrunners. We're thankful to the fans who have watched these 2 seasons and for the partnership we've shared on the series. While the series on Netflix has ended, the immortal Iron Fist will live on. So that last part in that statement brought me to my question like, okay, there's not going to be Iron Fist season 3. That's fine. But will live on. Does that mean that we can see Danny Rand showing up, crossing over on Daredevil, the new Daredevil season, or the other shows? Because Danny Rand had done that. He showed up in Luke Cage season 2. Um, I think at this point we there's room for him to come back, if not in other of those other shows, or if they ever make the Defender season 2, which of course, as you know, brings together all four heroes: Daredevil, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage. Um, so I think that door is not yet closed for actor Finn Jones. By the way, Finn Jones posted this on his Instagram, responding to the news that his show has been canceled. And let me read to you what he says here, and I quote: "With every end is a new beginning. I have an enormous amount of love and respect for everyone involved with the last 2 seasons of this show. Defending the greatest city in the world amongst the most talented and warmest people has been a privilege and a joy. Blessed to have taken this journey, and grateful for the ongoing support." Wow. That sounds like something that a PR would write. But if Finn Jones wrote it himself, then that's cool, man. That's very what's the word I'm looking for? That's very, very of a big person of you. Like you're very positive, when it comes to responding to your show getting canceled. Uh, Most other actors probably wouldn't take it that well. So credit where credit is due. So I I did not hate Iron Fist. I know a lot of people have told me that it's their least favorite of all the Netflix Marvel shows, and I don't blame them. It's I think the show could be better, or could have been better written. I mean, um, but I don't hate it. And I think Danny Rand. I'm sorry, actor Finn Jones did okay with the material that he was given. Um, and I hope that we get to see him again back as Danny Rand, or as the Iron Fist, as the immortal Iron Fist in the other Marvel shows on Netflix, or in Defender season 2. So I don't think this is going to be the last that we'll see of Finn Jones. Finn Jones, of course, is also an alum of Game of Thrones. My fellow Game of Thrones fans out there, woo woo, what? That's right. So yeah, goodbye, Iron Fist, but it's not eternal goodbye. All right, so let's get to the chat real quick here before we get to the next topic. Um, Robert says, "You need me on your show with you, Rama." Hey, I do need you, man. Remind me all the stuff that I probably forget while I do the live stream sometimes, because I have short term memory, or I have that memory lapse, because I trying to remember all the stuff from my childhood or from the 90s. So thanks for looking things up for me, Robert. Tyler says, "Do Heroes for Hire instead of Luke Cage season 3. Not a bad idea, but I personally, Tyler, I would love to see the Defender season 2. I know the Defender season 1 had its problems. One of which was like, why did you have somebody as big as Sigourney Weaver playing the villain, only to replace him with Elektra as the villain halfway through? That's just so terrible. And the hand organization thing was, I think they could pick a better, a more formidable foe than the hand for season 2. But I still enjoyed the bantam of, or the team up of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. I want to see those four kick ass together again in season 2. Um, Plus, Danny is the worst Iron Fist. Wow. Yeah. I don't blame your comment, Tyler. Yeah, a lot of people have told me that too. That is it's their least favorite Marvel show on Netflix, and they don't like the fact that Finn Jones play Iron Fist. I think they're also still gung ho about the argument of like, oh, they should have cast an Asian lead as Iron Fist. I don't. I'm not against that. I remember when that came up before season one was in production. I'm not against that, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't grow up reading Iron Fist comic books, but Danny Rand, isn't he a white boy in the comic books? So I wasn't really like, I'm not like, oh no, it has to be white or it has to be this. Like, I'm okay, but when they cast him, I'm like, fine by me. He's white in the comic books anyway. So um, I think as far as the cast goes, it's arguable. Um, Danny Rand has always been, Tyler says, Danny Rand has always been a white guy. If you made him Asian, you'd just be feeding into the racial stereotype. That's true. we, but then again, we're gonna have a kung fu series too, so starring Chinese American woman character. So it's gonna be a long time before we get to, you know, um, a depiction of Asian community that's not always about us being doctors or us being martial art fighters. So fresh off the boat is probably the only thing that we have right now. So yeah, that's a good point too, Tyler. Good point too. All right, so let's go to the next one here. We're making good time. Oh, before we get to the next topic, just want to remind you again that Rama Screen is at GoFundMe. So you can go to gofundme.com/ramascreen and donate there to help support this channel. Or you can also contribute monthly to Ramascreen Patreon page at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. And Ramascreen is coming to audio. That's right. In the next few weeks, I will the Rockin' and Rama Screen live show, and many of my reviews will be available on audio through Podbean and ultimately on iTunes. So that's going to be happening within the next few weeks. So that's some exciting news. So uh, John Wayne playing Genghis Khan. Not only that, what was his name? Was it Mickey Rooney? Right, Mickey Rooney played an Asian guy in that classic movie. I can't remember the title off the top of my head right now. I'm sure Robert will remind me of that the title. But yeah, I totally get you, man. I totally get you, Tyler. um, Aladdin teaser. Mm, sorry, somebody just texted me here. Okay, never mind. I'll just silence it. The next topic is Aladdin teaser. Oh my god, did you guys see it? It hit the web. I think it was first on Disney's official Twitter feed, and then of course on Disney YouTube channel, and it just blew up, man. Everybody was like talking about it. It was very short. They showed the teaser showed massive, land of sand and Agrabah, and then you see pretty much a shot of Aladdin um, about to behold or beholding. He's about to like put his hands on the magic lamp. Um, that's it. That's basically the teaser. And I think the music that was playing in the background was Arabian Nights. Remember that? Arabian Nights. Da, 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 da. Well, sorry, in a slower version, of course. um, that's it. So, what's my reaction or what are my thoughts about the trailer? It's very glossy, I guess. It was very shining and shimmering splendor. Now you're getting me to sing a whole new world, but it's very well. It was very, very like very glossy. I guess that's the word I was looking for. The animated movie was in 1992, and Aladdin live action movie is one of the many, many, many animated movies that Disney is live actionizing. Is that a word? Live actionizing? I'm gonna coin that. That's a I'm a yes. They live actionized or they live actionize as many of their animated movies. There's gonna be Dumbo live action. We just had Beauty and the Beast live action, and of course Lilo and Stitch that was announced a couple weeks ago. And so Aladdin is one of the many that you can expect. The director is Guy Ritchie. Now this is interesting choice, right? Um, I think although I was not a fan of the Sherlock Holmes movies that he did, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you guys love those Sherlock Holmes movies starring Robert Downey Jr., but I'm not one of them. I was a fan of Guy Ritchie's gangster comedies, Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And although I was not crazy about King Arthur, do you remember he made King Arthur movie with Charlie Hunnam? There there was a part in that King Arthur movie that made me think, wow, Guy Ritchie is the perfect man for the Aladdin job. Now, if you guys, well, of course, you know that this show always contains spoilers. So here we go. Here's the spoiler. If you've seen King Arthur movie, there's that part in the movie where Arthur, when he was younger, and his fellow bandits, his fellow youngsters, um, they they steal shit to survive, and of course, they always get chased after by a bunch of captors and security guards, um, and that whole sequence was very energetic, and it was very Guy Ritchie style, and that's the part where it finally, get in my head. It's like, wow, he is the right man to direct Aladdin, because if you remember in Aladdin, he's well, he's not necessarily a bandit, if you will, but he's a poor kid trying to survive. So and in the movie Aladdin 1992 movie, he gets chased after too by the Agrabah's policeman, if you will. And so that whole sequence can be done just like the one in the King Arthur movie. And I think Guy Ritchie is going to apply that same method and that same style. Um, because remember, Aladdin, just like the Arthur in Guy Ritchie's version, he's what's the word in the song? Riff raff, street rat. I don't buy that. Hey, I'm an Aladdin fan. Okay, I love all the songs. Um, of course, just like all the movies that Disney, all the animated movies that Disney has live actionized, just like Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella, you know, whatever songs that were in the original animated movies, they're gonna update those songs and then apply them to the live action, and they're gonna add a few more new songs. So that's the plan. And of course, they're bringing back the same talents. The great Alan Menken, whom I've met. I met him at the Beauty and the Beast press junket. I was like, oh my god! I just shook the hand of Alan Menken. Now I could melt now. He's an amazing, amazing composer. He's gonna provide the score, and he's gonna write some original songs for this new Aladdin movie with equally great talents whom you know, Howard Ashman and Tim Rice. Tim Rice, of course, won an Oscar with Alan Menken for the song A Whole New World. By the way, A Whole New World, real quick, I know a lot of my friends who are Disney fans as well, they said that, oh, I like the Whole New World version sung or performed in the film by Leah Salonga and Brad Kane. But I disagree. I actually enjoyed the music video version of A Whole New World, which was performed by Peebo Bryson and Regina Bell. So, and I will stand by that opinion. I will stand by that till I die. Okay, I like that version way, way, way better. It's just more. It just sounds more full. Um, but it's okay if you don't like that version. That's fine too. But you're wrong. um, Now the next question is, well, before we get to the next the $1 million question about Aladdin, I also want to say that Naomi Scott, who plays Jasmine, oh my God, you could not have cast a more perfect actress for that role. Okay, I met Naomi Scott at the press junket for Power Rangers reboot because she plays the Pink Ranger. Oh my God, she is beautiful. That woman is gorgeous, like photogenic, and that got that just the nicest, most perfect bone structure. and and I believe she's mixed, right? She's mixed English and Indian descent. Her parents, what I'm referring about. Um, so, oh man, she as Jasmine, that's just meant to be. That's like destiny. That's like it's the perfect timing that they have this live action movie that Naomi Scott could play Jasmine. Um, I don't know if she beats out like other actresses trying to you know get the role, but I don't even think that's a competition. They should have just like bam, Naomi Scott, let's hire her. So kudos to Disney and the producers of this movie for having her as Jasmine, because oh my God, Jasmine is one of my favorite Disney princesses, and to have Naomi Scott brings that to life. Woo! Woo! It's gonna be awesome. All right, the $1 million question is um can Will Smith do the genie justice in honor of Robin Williams? All right. So I was at this Meet the Movie Press show this past Friday, and this topic came up for a brief second, but my fellow film critic, Kit Bowden, and she mentioned like, "Oh, I hope Will Smith can do Robin Williams justice," and I have the same hope. We as fans of the original animated movie, I mean, Robin Williams, excuse me, what makes Robin Williams' genie so lovable and so timeless is that he put a lot of himself in there. Robin Williams is genie. Genie, his sense of humor, his fast talking persona, Williams' im, im, improvise, improvisation skills, if you will. Given the fact that Genie himself is a shapeshifter, he can morph to anything. Um, and yeah, his jokes, man, he would be so fast on his toes. Um, these are big shoes to fill. Um, so the question is Will Smith going to be able to top that, or at least, I mean, what is his plan? Because we don't know yet. We haven't seen the movie yet. Is Will Smith trying to emulate Robin Williams' genie, or is he doing his own version? And if he is doing his own version, will that version be well received? Because Genie is just one. Robin Williams' take on Genie is so memorable and so ingrained in a lot of us Disney fans. It's gonna be so hard to make room for a new take, for a Will Smith take. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of version Will Smith will put on the screen for us, um, and we're gonna be the judges for that ourselves. Real quick before we get to the next topic, uh, the guy who plays Aladdin is Mena Masood, the hapless but lovable street rat, who is smitten with the Sultan's daughter, Naomi Scott, played by Princess Jasmine, played by Naomi Scott, the beautiful Sultan's daughter, who wants to have a say in how she lives her life, and who plays Jafar, the villain, is Marwan Kanzari. You may recognize him in the Murder on the Orient Express from last year. And before we get to the next topic, just real quick, I want to end on this. I remember there was a poll. I don't think it was by Jimmy Kimmel, because Jimmy Kimmel would sometimes send a correspondent to interview people on the streets, and the correspondent would be asking the people, random people, silly questions, and they get silly answers in return. I don't know if that's the show, but I think it might be a poll, not necessarily Jimmy Kimmel. But there was a question about, what because we were I don't want to get too political, but people are like, oh my goodness, should we continue to be in the Middle East, with all these wars? And there was a poll, a silly onion kind of like poll saying like, do we need to invade Agrabah? And I think there was some percentage of people that says yes, and there's some better percentage of people that says what's Agrabah, and there's some percentage of people that's like, no, I don't want, like, no more interventionary kind of war. And just it's a funny thing. Not war is a funny thing, but the fact that some people actually think that Agrabah is an actual Middle East region. I gotta look that up again. But people, Agrabah is a fictional place, okay, in Disney's Aladdin. It's not an actual Middle East country. So get your geography right. Okay, so all right, let's get to the chat here real quick. Um, That's right. Robert says Mickey Rooney played an Asian in The Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's right. I forgot the movie. So thanks, Robert, for looking things up for me. Tyler says from Pink Power Ranger to Disney Princess. Yep. Woohoo. God, Naomi Scott is so freaking hot. All right. She's like 25, 26 years old, man. So I'm 35, so I guess I'm too old now. It'll be creepy. But I just want to say Naomi Scott is the perfect woman as Jasmine. Um, Tyler says the guy who plays Aladdin looked pretty dorky in the teaser. He does, doesn't he? He looks so dorky in the teaser. It's like, oh my, like this. Oh, like a magic lamp. Oh, and then the moment he touches it, he wets his pants. It's like, oh. uh, uh, and it's not like it's not like when Indiana Jones, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, when he sees the golden object thing, and it's like, oh, this is nice. Okay, let's get to business. Let's put the same weight. You know, Indiana Jones is not like, oh. uh, Tyler says, I think it's just gonna be a big blue version of Will Smith. So you're saying that it's just gonna be Will Smith showing up as himself, but painted blue. Oh, that's funny, man. And then what's it? And it's gonna be really even funny when Will Smith as the genie starts singing "Getting Jiggy with It," getting jiggy with it. Come on, am I the only one who still remembers "Jiggy with It"? Even though it's the most the cheesiest, most terrible rap song ever. Robert says Rama should be on The Voice. Oh. Robert says I was waiting for the genie too. Come on, Disney. Robert says Naomi Scott is very beautiful. I'm in love with her. Yes, I think I have a huge crush also. Huge crush with Naomi Scott. Tyler says, did you notice Will Smith was the only one credited at the end of the trailer? Oh, was he? I didn't notice that, but I'm not surprised, Tyler, because Will Smith is probably the only one in that whole cast who has a big star power name. You know, uh, just like um, just like that first Jack Ryan movie with Alec Baldwin. I think it was Sean Connery's name that was like plastered huge in that the Hunt for Red October. And Alec Baldwin is, even though he's Jack Ryan, he's like his face is not as big as Sean Connery in the poster. So it's one of those cases, just like the movie Superman, the movie. Tyler, remember Superman with Christopher Reeve, the first one? I believe one of the big names that flies through the screen, it was Marlon Brando and then Christopher Reeve. So it's not unusual. I'm not surprised, and they're hoping that the fans of Will Smith, including the fans of Getting Jiggy with It, will come. Will be flocking to watch Aladdin and give Disney another box office win. At least that's what they're hoping. All right, the next topic is. Before we get to the next topic, again, Rama Screen will be available on audio in the next few weeks. It'll be podbean.com, and then it'll be coming to iTunes, hopefully. So that's exciting news. The next topic is very, very brief. Coach movie is coming to Rama screen. Now, I believe Coach Movies. Yeah, Coach Movies, not Coach Movie. Coach Movies. It's the brand name of one of Rama screen patrons, Jason Cordero, my brother from up north in Canada. Whoop whoop. So he has his own Stardust app or Stardust reaction segment on his Stardust, and he calls himself Coach Movies, which is cool. And I love his reactions. And he would tackle like even the most obscure movies that are like, what? I've never heard of that. Let me IMDb that. Oh my goodness, this is an interesting plot. Let me check it out. Let me put that on my must-see list. My must-see list. So Jason is such a movie aficionado. I think he's even a bigger movie fan than I am. And so I contacted Jason. I said, hey, can we do a collab where I want to feature you as one of the playlists or one of the segments on Rama screen, where I would compile your reactions, your Stardust reactions on these movies, um, either on a once a month basis or maybe on a weekly basis. So that's what's going to happen. I'm just giving you guys an update that you guys can expect Coach Movies playlist, his compilation of his Stardust reaction will be part of Rama Screen YouTube channel. Um, I don't know when exactly, but it's coming. All right. I'm still in the middle of transferring many of my reviews and rocking it with Rama Screen live shows onto audio, to audio iTunes, as I said earlier. But you can expect Jason Cordero's Coach Movies to come to Rama Screen YouTube channel very, very, very soon. And I might even do some intro, in front of every Coach Movies compilation. So it's not just gonna be like you press play and then his compilation of Back to the Future or Halloween movie or whatever. I think you can press play and then there'll be me for a few seconds. Hey guys, you're about to watch this and this and this. Enjoy, something to that effect. But yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. If you are on Stardust, also please follow Coach Movies on Stardust. He does some great reaction of so many movies and TV shows too, because he watches Survivor. He's a big Survivor fan. Um, all right, so that's the brief topic. Coach Movies is coming to Rama Screen YouTube channel. All right, let's get to the chat real quick here. Tyler says, and Wild Wild West, even though the movie was awful. Oh my God, do you remember Wild Wild West? Oh, dude. I think Kevin Kline is in that movie, right? Kevin Kline. I remember at the end of that film, I was just like, I was shaking my head, face palming, and I was like, dude, I can't believe I just paid $10 for this movie. I watched it in theater. I watched the movie. I was like, oh, this is horrible, horrible. Um, Robert says Robin Williams is a legend. Really big shoes to fill. I think Will Smith can take care of business. That's right. Very big shoes to fill. Um, I do hope that maybe it would be best for Will Smith to not try to emulate Robin Williams, because that would be disastrous on his part. Because people will be comparing. You don't want to be compared. You don't want, as an actor, you don't want your performance to be compared to others, even though if it's a new take. Um, just do your own thing. And let the audience be the judge. And I don't think they would be as harsh um, if you just do your own thing, as opposed to trying to copy Robin Williams' genie. Tyler says the giant. That's right. That giant mechanical spider. Oh, at the end of Wild Wild West. I can't believe it. By the way, real quick, I forgot about Aladdin. You know how it was animated version, right, in 1992, and now we're gonna have the live action version. I mean, I don't know, maybe years from now, decades from now, when everything's like, or maybe movie turns into hologram, and then by then Disney's gonna try to make hologram movie version of their previous of there's gonna be an Aladdin hologram version. I don't know. It never ends. The cycle never ends. uh, Tyler says the Kenneth Branagh with as the villain with ridiculous accent. That's right. Robert says it's like the scene in American Pie, the scene with Jason Biggs and Shannon Elizabeth. Oh my goodness! Like oh, Aladdin touching the magic lamp. It's like oh, this magic lamp. I just okay. So uh, the next topic, guys, is Glass trailer. Did you guys see the Glass movie trailer, the new one that came out this past week? Holy crap! My first reaction is I loved it. I loved it. It was fantastic. And I'm glad that the new trailer shows more of the story, of we finally could see that it's going to be about, well, at least from the trailer, I'm basing it off the trailer here, that the mastermind Glass, played by Samuel L. Jackson, is going to try to help James McAvoy unleash his beast, because he's got multiple personalities, so he wants the beast to come out. And of course, um, David, played by Bruce Willis, is the good guy from the movie Unbreakable. And so at the end of that trailer, we see Beast and David collide, like an ultimate fight between good and evil and hero versus villain. Um, and with Samuel L. Jackson just, smiling. It's like, because he's like, oh, excellent. I got them both to fight. Uh, I got them. I got the beast to come out and wreak some havoc in this town, in this godforsaken city. Um, it's fantastic. I like it. I like the look of it too. The design in the movie is just. Oh, here's the thing. I was a huge fan of Unbreakable. I love Unbreakable because it was basically, what if Superman doesn't know that he's Superman? And Samuel L. Jackson's character, as bad as he was, because he created all these catastrophes just to find that one man who wouldn't, like, he wouldn't that one man who wouldn't get who would survive without a single scratch, basically. And so at the cost of all these lives lost, of course, the collateral damages. So he's bad in that aspect, but he's so hell bent in trying to find this one hero, like in the comic books. Um, I can't. For one, I can't wait to see the fight between James McAvoy and Bruce Willis. I hope it's epic. Um, I'm curious about how those cheerleaders get get kidnapped by James McAvoy. That's a lot of women. In the movie Split, where James McAvoy's character originated, I think he only kidnapped three girls, right? Three girls. But in the movie Glass, apparently a whole team of cheerleaders. So that's a lot of people to kidnap. So by from just one person, him. Um, Another thing I want to also, every time that Hollywood deals with mental institution or mental hospital, there's always that one flew over the cuckoo's nest kind of feel to it. That's also the impression I got. Even though when that shot of Glass, I'll just use their real names: Samuel L. Jackson, James McAvoy, and Bruce Willis in the same room with Sarah. Um, I forgot his name, Sarah. Well, anyway, she was trying to psychoanalyze them. That whole scene. That reminded me of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but it was very colorful. It was very stylized. I like that. I like the differences between Glass, James McAvoy's character, and Bruce Willis's character, separated by those colors. It's just so interesting. It just caresses my sight. Like, I want to see more of it. At the end of that trailer, I was like, yes, let me have the movie now. Um, Combining Unbreakable and Split as a mashup sequel, I think this is a fantastic idea on M. Night Shyamalan's part. Because let's face it, guys, M. Night Shyamalan had disappointed us in the past quite frequently. Do you remember The Happening with Mark Wahlberg, when Mark Wahlberg was talking to that plant? Do you remember Lady in the Water? Anybody? Do you remember The Last Airbender? Huh? So I this mashup sequel is a fantastic idea when you compare it to some of the movies that he's done and let us down with in the past. I'll take this. I will take this. Um, is it gonna backfire or is it gonna start a new trend? You know, what other? Because my question to you is, what other mashup sequels that you can create out there? Maybe maybe Peppermint with Harley Quinn. So you have Jennifer Garner fight against Margot Robbie Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. Or what other ideas for mashup sequels that you can come up with? Or maybe you say, hey Rama, you can't just do mashup sequels, out of the blue. It has the characters have to be from the same universe or the same creation or from the same filmmaker. Because Unbreakable and Split was from the mind of M. Night Shyamalan. So I don't know what other ideas that could be. I don't know if there's going to be starting a new trend with other possible mashup sequels out there. But for what this is, for what the new trailer gives us, I am very much intrigued. The trailer definitely has me sold. I am all in. I can't wait. My only fear is that Glass is a January movie. As you know, movies or the month of January is a dumping ground for crap movies, for shitty movies. Um, somebody argued me the other day, and a friend of mine. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but a friend of mine said, "Hey, Rama, I disagree because Hollywood's been like spreading that love over now. Some of the blockbusters even arrived in March, so the whole stigma of January being the dumping ground for crap movies is no longer the case anymore. That I hope so. I hope so. My counter argument is like, I hope you're right. You know, I hope Glass is one of those decent movies in January. Um, so yeah, I'm open to it. So that's the topic on the on Glass movie trailer. What do you think of it? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Did you like the trailer? Did you not like it? What do you anticipate most about this mashup sequel? Or do you have any other mashup sequel ideas that you want to share with us? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, let's get to the chat real quick before we get to the next topic. Um, Tyler says, I was glad to see Mr. Glass's mother supports his supervillain dreams and aspirations. That's right. I forgot about that part of the trailer. That's right. That was very interesting. Where she said, what was that line, Tyler? She said, they always underestimate Glass. Or Elijah, right? Elijah, yeah. So that was like, ooh, creepy there. Cool. Um, Revan Starborn is here. And Paulson, that's right. Sarah Paulson. Oh, thank you. Thank you. See, I have memory lapse from time to time. Robert says, I can't wait for Halloween. I'm going to see it on the 18th in Dolby Cinema. That's right. Can't wait to see it too. Raven Starborn is here, says, he had me shook with the ending. Raven suggested Paranormal Activity and The Conjuring as a mashup sequel. Thank you. That's a fantastic idea. Tyler says Predator versus Avatar. Make it happen, Disney and Fox. Because Disney is about to buy Fox. By the way, I heard that the deal is going to be finalized in January. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to repeat myself in this show, but I've mentioned to you 1,000 times I don't like this whole merger, this whole acquisition is a bad idea. For one reason, my friend mentioned the other day, Scott Menzel, is like Disney has owned so many companies that if you have like a box office weekend results, many of them will be Disney movies, basically. Even if it's Marvel or Lucasfilm or Fox, it'll be basically Disney movies, dominating the box office. I was like, so there's no variety anymore. And my number two argument to that is from the principal standpoint. It's America, man. America's supposed to consist of many companies, not one company controlling a lot of companies. There's nothing American about that. That's un-American, at least in my opinion. So I'm really, really not liking the fact that Disney is buying Fox, but that's the fact that's going to happen, unfortunately. Robert says Glass trailer 2 is awesome. I hope Bruce Willis brings his A game to the table. I hope so too. As a big fan of Bruce Willis, I grew up a huge fan of his. I think Bruce Willis is one of the best, still to me, one of the greatest of all time when it comes to being an action superstar. Because of all his Die Hard movies and the sixth element, the fifth element, the fifth element, then the sixth sense is drama and horror. Uh, and I'm really sad at the fact that Bruce Willis has been doing straight to VOD or straight to Redbox movies lately. You know, it's sad. You've seen the trailers for those smaller movies starring Bruce Willis. I was like, oh, nobody's gonna watch this. Bruce Willis and Frank Grillo. I was like, oh, come on. So now Bruce Willis coming back to the big screen with Glass. It's a breath of fresh air. It's so refreshing. Um, Revan Starborn is here, says, yes, it is no more competition from other companies. Yeah, right. It's not cool. It's not cool. There's nothing American about one company controlling everything. Look, I love Disney. I don't, but I don't want Disney to own the whole world. America's supposed to be like everybody's doing their own varieties of things. Giving their creative vision. You know, uh, Put a lot of different things on the table. Not just under one umbrella. Though I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think you're gonna ever get me to liking the fact that Disney is gonna own Fox. Um, Tyler suggests the mashup sequel, Alien and Murder on the Orient Express crossover. Okay, how would that work? How would that work? So, so the xenomorph would go from one train cart to the next, and then fight off, the many characters, the ensemble characters of a. Okay, but or maybe the characters, just like in the murder of the on the Orient Express, they would end up each of them would end up stabbing the xenomorph, as the xenomorph is sleeping, right? And then they would just like you see Judy Dench stabbing him, and then Josh Gad stabbing him, and everybody's for some reason all those 20 people fit in that one cart. I have no idea how that worked out. Raven Starborn is here, says Friday the 13th and Silence of the Lambs. All right, Friday the 13th and Silence of the Lambs. Oh, Hannibal Lecter versus Jason Voorhees. Yes, that would be quite the battle. And at the end, if Hannibal wins, Hannibal could eat Jason, like with fava beans and Chianti, right? Like I was Hello, Clarice. Hello, Clarice. Robert says Sarah Paulson. That's right, Sarah Paulson. Uh, Tyler says Poirot, the Hercule Poirot, tries to figure out who murdered someone, finds out in the second act. It's a xenomorph, then nonstop action until the end. Pay me now, Disney and Fox. Raven says, may the best killer win between Hannibal and Jason Voorhees. You guys crack me up. You guys, these are great ideas. You guys are awesome. All right, let's get to the next topic here. We're making good time. I want to know what your thoughts about this one. This is a big one too. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm not covering the James Gunn Suicide Squad 2 news, it's because I already covered it. So you can check out my video about that on Rama Screen YouTube channel. I already covered that topic before, this past week when it hit the web. Okay, this next topic is boom, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, ding, 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 ding. The People's Bottom. Oh my God, it's the People's Bottom. Oh, oh my God, it's the People's Elbow. Oh, who, oh. Hey, I know my WWF, WWE now. So The Rock Johnson is going to Netflix. He's gonna be a Netflix star. Well, he's gonna still be a movie star, but he also signed on this deal with Netflix where he's making this new movie called John Henry and the Statesman. To fill you in, if you don't know who John Henry is, he's basically an African American folk hero. Let me read to you here what Wikipedia says about him. He's a man tasked with hammering a steel drill into rock to make holes for explosives to blast the rock in constructing a railroad tunnel. According to legend, John Henry's prowess as a steel driver was measured in a race against a steam powered rock drilling machine, a race that he won only to die in victory with hammer in hand as his heart gave out from the stress. Wow, quite the legendary folk hero. Um, the film uh, is planned to be, or the plan is for to have the film be the first installment in a shared cinematic universe centered around folk heroes or folk legends from all kinds of folklore from various ethnic groups and cultures. So the first movie will be about John Henry and the statesman, and then the second movie will be about another character of another legend or another folklore. So it's like an anthology, an anthology kind of movie. This, I think, Dwayne Johnson also released the teaser, very very brief teaser of this John Henry and the Statesman. Um, Let me read to you, um, because I received the press release from Netflix this past weekend, and I was at the Meet the Movie press podcast show this past Friday, and the host, a wonderful friend of mine, Dimitri, he's very disturbed by Dwayne Johnson's comment in this press release, and I understand why Dimitri is so upset about that. He's upset, or his argument is valid, because Johnson said this in the press release, and I quote: "Netflix is the perfect partner and platform for us to continue entertaining our global audience in a disruptive way." Disruptive way. Get He's basically implying that, hey, Netflix is the platform that kind of shakes the establishment, basically, that gives the movie going business a run for its money. So basically that's what he's implying, and Dimitri takes offense to that, and I understand why, because Dwayne Johnson has been, for the for the past decade, since he transitioned from wrestling to being a movie star, he's been like preaching about movies. He's been, going to CinemaCon and preaching like, hey, go to the movies, watch my movies and stuff like that. And all of a sudden he's saying that Netflix is a disruptor. So I totally get why people are upset about that comment. Um, but here's the fact of the matter too. If you recall the past three movies of Dwayne Johnson, all right, Baywatch, Rampage, and Skyscraper. Baywatch had a $69 million budget, but only made about $58 million at the domestic box office, but it did better internationally with $119 million. Rampage had a budget of $120 million. Holy crap! That was an expensive movie. Unfortunately, it only banked $99 million domestically, but it did better internationally with $327 million. Damn. Skyscraper had a budget of $127 million. Holy shit. $127 million movie. But it only made $67 million domestically. Yikes. Ouch. That's gotta hurt. But it did way better internationally, $235 million. It seems that we have a pattern here where the international market receives Dwayne Johnson's movies way, I guess, yeah, better. I guess is what I'm looking for here. They're more well received internationally. That's how I would phrase it. They are more well received internationally than domestically. Um, and that's baffling, right? Because if we see Dwayne Johnson, the guy has like millions of following on Twitter and Facebook. Whenever he tweets or posts something, it gets retweeted thousands of times over. Um, and so you would think that because of his star power, that his fans would flock to the theaters and make his movies a box office success. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case here, at least in the USA. Um, so the idea of like, oh, just slap a famous A-lister's face or a name onto this movie and that's it, that'll take care of it. That's not true. It's not. It needs It needs to be a combination of star power and good movie, a good story. All right. Uh, clearly, the audiences here in the states, we have a more critical sense. We are more, I guess the word I'm looking for is attuned or analytical. We basically know when a movie, we know when a movie looks terrible, right? When we, if we see something like Baywatch or Rampage or Skyscraper, we're not gonna, here in the US, we're not gonna be like, oh my God, Dwayne Johnson's in that movie. I'm in. There are some cases. I would probably say that if, let's see, who is my, oh, Al Pacino. If Al Pacino's in that movie, I'm in. But that doesn't necessarily make that movie will. That doesn't necessarily make that movie profitable. Um, to my point is that star power is not enough because when you say, "Hey, Rama, A Star is Born" is popular. Is making big money at the big box office. Lady Gaga fans, millions of them support her movie. Yeah, yeah. But my counter argument will be like, okay, that's fine, but that's not all. It's Lady Gaga's fans combined with the fact that A Star is Born is an actual solid movie. It's an actual good storytelling quality movie. So that helped. Um, so if it's just star power alone, then Mariah Carey's movie Glitter or Britney Spears movie Crossroad, they would have been box office success too if you just base it on star power alone. So back to Dwayne Johnson being a Netflix star. Yeah, I don't think he should have said what he said in the press release. He's like burning bridges with that comment and just like poo pooing, movies. I mean, let's not forget that he's still got that Disney movie Jungle Cruise. So he's still gonna be a movie star because Disney will always employ him, right? No, he had that Escape to Witch Mountain, he had Moana, and now he's got Jungle Cruise. So, let's not, come on, Dwayne, come on. I know, I know you have this wrestling personality like The Rock. Oh, I'm always, I'm the people's champ, but don't be too arrogant that you're like poo-pooing the movie business that has been kind to you. So that's my reaction to his comment. But as far as him being a Netflix star, I think that is a wise move. If you see the how his movie's been doing at the box office domestically compared to internationally. I remember reading uh, an article where Netflix head honcho Ted, I forgot his name. You guys probably can pull it up for me, Ted something. And he was asked by the press, like, why did you throw that money to throw all that money at Adam Sandler? Why did you throw all that money at Adam Sandler? Because Adam Sandler signed a 4-picture deal with Netflix, and as we know, Adam Sandler's movies in the theater had not been doing well. I think the last one was Jack and Jill. Remember that Jack and Jill? Oh, it was so shitty. Damn, I can't believe Al Pacino's in that movie. Ah, but anyway, so when he was asked that, Ted says, "Hey, Adam Sandler is actually something that's lucrative for us, Netflix. His movies, say what you want about them, they're really doing well on Netflix with our subscribers globally, internationally speaking. It's the number one, streamed by a lot of people. Um, so Dwayne Johnson making movies for Netflix, I think it's a smart move. I think his international fans seem to be more energized about him, about his films, than we are here at home. When we here in the states seem to need more variety, we need more quality, which is fine, and that's a good thing. Whereas internationally, they're like, "Oh, Dwayne Johnson's in it. Where do I sign up?" That seems to be the perception over there. And so, what better way to market your movie to a global audience than Netflix, which has wide reach around the world. So I think this is a smart move business wise on Dwayne Johnson's part. But yeah, but he could have done without that really belittling comment, if you will. in the press release. So, what do you think? Are you looking forward to John Henry and the Statesman movie by Dwayne Johnson? The movie that's gonna be the start of a new anthology franchise movies on Netflix about legends and folklore heroes. What do you think? Is this a smart move for Dwayne Johnson or not? Do you understand why he's chosen this route? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. All right, let's get to the next comment here. Raven's responding to Tyler. Tyler, I'm dying of laughter. Raven Starborn is here, says he'll take care of whatever job he can do to further his career. That's right. Um, Robert says, Rama, don't tell Lewis I was on the chat with you. I won't tell Lewis. Tyler says, remember how well Bright turned out on Netflix, even though they got Will Smith. That's right. Bright did pretty well, right? And I think what helped also that was that Bright was released in theater and on Netflix on the same day, like simultaneously. So they can do the same for John Henry and the Statesman. So instead of it being just a Netflix movie, it could be Netflix and theatrical release at the same time. Um, Robert says we can't escape The Rock. Revan says no, we can't. How unfortunate. Al Pacino had the hots for Adam Sandler in drag. Uh, Clearly, Tyler has seen also Jack and Jill. Oh my god, I'm a huge Al Pacino fan, but when I saw that scene, I was like, no, no, Al, what are you doing? What are you doing to yourself? He must have been low on cash that he needed that gig. I don't know. Raven says, "Oh, the bad memories." um, Hell no, I will pass on what The Rock is cooking. All right, you Raven's taking a stance here on the issue of The Rock being a Netflix star. Robert says The Rock does better with an ensemble cast than himself. Very true. Raven says true. That's right. So we'll see who else they will cast as the Statesman. Because John Henry and the Statesman in this new movie. The last obstacle. I mean, obstacle. The last topic. Before I get to the last topic again, just want to remind you guys that Rama Screen is at GoFundMe. So if you want to help support Rama Screen, you can donate through gofundme.com/Rama Screen. Or if you want to contribute monthly on a monthly basis, you can do so at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Rama Screen. There at Patreon, I also give extra content, extra movie reviews of classic pastime movies to just only to Rama Screen, exclusive to Rama Screen patrons. So today I posted my video review of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So yeah, if you want to help on a monthly basis, that's patreon.com/Rama Screen and get all the perks there. Rama Screen is coming to audio in the next few weeks. It'll be first on podbean.com. I will convert many of my reviews and the weekly show Rockin' in Rama Screen Live, convert them to audio. It'll be available on Podbean, and it'll also be available on iTunes in the next few weeks to come. I'll definitely keep you posted and share you the link once they're up online. All right, the last topic is actually more of a rumor. If you say like, "Hey Rama, how come you're not discussing the Ryan Coogler signing up for Black Panther 2?" Because as my friend Scott Menzel would put it, that would fall under the duh category. Duh. Of course, Ryan Coogler would sign on to direct the sequel, just like Jon Favreau signed on to direct Iron Man 2. It's not a big, controversy. I just hope that Black Panther 2 would come out better than Iron Man 2, because that was a disaster in my opinion. So there's not much to discuss there. So the last topic is actually a rumor from this past week. And I want to read off from the article Metro CO UK. And again, you can file this under rumor, or you can take this with a grain of salt. Okay. Richard Madden, the alumnus of Game of Thrones series and he also played Prince in the Disney live action movie Cinderella. Yeah, he played Prince Charming. I think he played. Yeah, he plays Prince Charming. Well, anyway, the role in his new movie Bodyguard, I think that's what the title is, has caught the eye or has caught the attention of James Bond producer Barbara Broccoli, who may be getting ready to offer Richard Madden the most coveted role on the silver screen. A source told The Sun. That's why I said this is a rumor. You got to take it with a grain of salt because The Sun, you can't always, you can't take everything posted on The Sun validly. But a source told The Sun that it's seriously looking like Richard Madden is going to get the James Bond job. Um, Not only is Richard Madden on top of Barbara Broccoli's list, but she is also preparing to offer the role to Richard Madden after Daniel Craig is done with this upcoming 25th James Bond movie. And as we all know, Daniel Craig hated the experience. He hated the experience shooting Spectre and promoting Spectre. Um, he wanted to get out of this franchise, so this next one will be his final one. And so there has been talk about, like, the last time we had the show. Remember, there was this talk about, oh, what about a female James Bond? Um, and I mentioned to you that instead of a female James Bond, how about the idea of maybe another female agent of the MI6, um, with a story told in that same universe? Like Bond is existing somewhere else, doing his own thing, and then you see this female character, female agent, doing her thing, instead of like changing the gender or altering the gender to Jane Bond, for example. Another thing that also my friend brought up, my friend's name is Silas. He brought up a good point about this whole female James Bond idea. Because people always say like, oh, he has to be British, he has to be male, he has to be a certain age range, and he brought up another point. He said, if you have a female James Bond, then that means you have to remove, or you would have to take away James Bond's womanizing personality. As you know, James Bond is a womanizer. He's supposed to be this seductive man, right? A seductive man that easily attracts women and loves the company of women. I mean, even the opening credit to all James Bond movies is highly sexualized. If you if you notice, all his James Bond's opening credits is always like you see figures of women. Um, so having a female James Bond or a female character in a James Bond universe, it's gonna take a drastic alteration about the character herself, um, and the opening credit. It's gonna change the opening credit significantly. Um, Spectre Spectre was so boring. I did not like Spectre. Did you guys like Spectre? Um, well, for one, we all knew that Christoph Waltz was gonna be Blofeld. I don't know what, it was so dumb, that whole thing where they're trying to, you know, deviate from or trying to distract you. Like, oh no, he's not Blofeld, guys. He's actually this character or that character. Reminds me of that movie Star Trek Into Darkness, when the fans already speculated and already speculated correctly that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be Khan, but J.J. Abrams and Benedict Cumberbatch and everybody involved was like, oh my god, that's part of the spoiler. No, 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 he's not Khan. He's not Khan. He's actually this guy named John Harrison. I was like, who are you trying to fool? Of course he's Khan. uh, so that's one of the things that was so dumb about Spectre. On top of the fact that it was just so, it was, to me, it was uneventful and unappealing, uninteresting. Especially the henchman played by Dave Bautista. And this is not to say that Dave Bautista did a bad job. I'm just saying his character. This is the first villain henchman since the franchise pretty much got rebooted with Casino Royale. And so we haven't had a henchman in a while, and now we have one. Hinks, that's his name, right? Hinks. And there's nothing really unique or memorable about him. All the other previous Bond villain henchmen, like Odd Jobs, or what's her name, the one that Famke Johnson plays in Golden Eye. I think it's Jonah, where she she every time she shoots up a place and then she's like so orgasmic about it. Oh, well, her and Odd Job and Jaws and some other all the other villain henchmen in the Bond universe, they've always had unique, memorable characteristics about them, either physical traits or like that guy Zhao from um, the one that has diamond in his face. He's got diamond ingrained in his face. So there's nothing really that stands out about Hinks, played by Dave Bautista, and that was so regrettable. It's just like I was hoping for something, nothing happens. Um, and the movie itself, Spectre, it tried too hard to pay homage to every other Bond movie that came before it, and just like, so you're not your own thing. Um, so I know that Spectre was a huge box office success, but it's probably among my least favorite Bond movies out there. So my enthusiasm for Daniel Craig's new upcoming Bond movie, which is the 25th Bond movie, the whole franchise. This is the 25th installment. It's gonna be only my only enthusiasm is that this is his final movie. Let's see how he goes out. All right, if he's gonna go out with a bang or not. So that's my only thing that attracts me to this, because Skyfall and Spectre just didn't do it for me, unfortunately. Richard Madden, back to Richard Madden. Is he gonna? Could he play? Could he potentially be a good new James Bond? I want to say, because Idris Elba says he's not gonna play him, even though I want Idris Elba. Of all the options out there, I'd rather see Henry Cavill. I would rather see Henry Cavill as the new James Bond. I think Richard Madden he's an okay choice. He's not bad. He's not terrible. I don't want to, he was so good as Rob Stark in in Game of Thrones. Um, but I think Henry Cavill would be. If you see The Man from Uncle, I was like, wow, that's James Bond right there. Um, so Henry Cavill already has his run, playing a spy agent. That's his audition, right? Um, just like Daniel Craig was in Layer Cake, I believe that's the movie, and then boom, he got. So the Man from Uncle, that should be the thing that indicates, hey, this guy has what it takes to be Bond. Um, so who knows? Who knows? I'm not against the idea of Richard Madden as James Bond, but I would prefer to see Henry Cavill get the role instead. But it all depends on the scheduling too, because as you know, Henry Cavill is busy doing the Witcher series. So if that ends up being multiple seasons till God knows when, and there might be some contractual conflict going on that he can't get out of it, and if he wants to do Bond, so that's another drama, maybe potential drama in the future. So we'll see. I'm not against the idea of Richard Madden as potential new James Bond, but I would rather see the role go to Henry Cavill instead. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts about this in the comment section below. As always, let's see. Let's get to the chat here before we close the show. Um, Raven says, I have seen Spectre, but don't remember it. I guess that speaks for itself. That's right. Thank you. See, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth, Raven. Thank you. Tyler says, I would want Dan Stevens or Henry Cavill as Bond. Dan Stevens would be fantastic. I think he would be a great choice too. Yeah, I don't mind Dan Stevens at all. Raven says Henry Cavill as James Bond. Yes. Tyler says bring back Sean Connery. If Harrison Ford can come back for Indiana Jones 5, then he can come back for another Bond film. Old man James Bond. Hey, that's actually a good idea, because kind of like old man Logan, right? Like with Logan, the movie, him in his later days, and you see him die. Maybe at the end of the movie, we'll see James Bond die. Sean Connery needs to return. I know that he's enjoying his retirement. He's enjoying his social security benefit, whatever. But we miss seeing Sean Connery. Guys, the last Sean Connery movie was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. What? Come on. That movie was not good. All right. You cannot go out with that. All right. That's not going out on a high note. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That was that was a terrible movie. That was so shitty. Uh, you gotta come back, Sean Connery. You gotta have a you gotta go out in a blaze of glory, not with something like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Um, so thank you guys for tuning in on this episode of Rocking It with Rama Screen Live. It's a weekly show. And tune in again next Sunday right here at youtube.com/ramascreen1. Same time, same bat channel, same bat cave at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And again, please subscribe to my channel. And if you can support it, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen or gofundme.com/ramascreen. And as always, let's rock this. Wayne's World, Wayne's World.